This is the Gen 2 CALF, a compact, lightweight, and affordable 3D VR180 camera with nearly 8K resolution. It features a built-in Ethernet port optimized for Apple Vision Pro. Plus, it integrates with Vision Pro app that let you stream and share spatial content instantly, similar to TikTok's workflow. This is the first consumer-friendly attempt at a 3D 180 camera since the Insta360 EVO, which, let's be honest, left a huge gap when it was discontinued. So can CALF, a social media company, really break into the content creator scene and make 3D 180 filmmaking accessible and affordable for everyone? Let's find out in this video. Hey, it is your boy Hugh and Kimchi, back on another 3D 180 camera review video. Well, it is not really a review yet, it is more a first look video. This is the pre-production unit of the brand new CALF Generation 2. This camera has a different design approach and is aimed at completely new audience. Unlike the Generation 1, which was geared toward professional immersive content creators, check out my review right here by the way. This one is built for everyday content creators, on-the-go vloggers, and those who might not know much about anything about camera. It is a point-and-shoot device that delivers both VR180 and 3D spatial video and photos. So if you have been around the 3D immersive space like I have, think of this as an upgrade version of the Insta360 EVO right here. It is only 7K, not 8K, despite what some marketing material might claim. But CALF does told me that 8K is on the way, along with 7K at 50 frames per second. So we will have to wait and see. Even just at 7K, the sharpness is noticeable better than the Insta360 EVO, Canon R7 with the new dual fisheye lens, and even slightly sharper than the CALF Generation 1. You can really tell the difference when viewing them at same size inside a headset like the Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3 right here. Resolution is crucial for 3D 180 cameras because the display here is much closer to your eye and have far higher quality than any phone or TV screen. If you are new to the immersive display, check out my Apple Vision Pro review series for more detail right here. The CALF Gen 2 delivers the sharpest image with the most detail, but its color and exposure could definitely be improved. This is mainly because of lack of manual exposure and white balance control in such a challenging lighting scenes. I would still argue that the Canon R7 offers the best natural looking color thanks to its manual exposure settings and 0:3 color profile. That said, the CALF Gen 2 isn't here to replace the Canon or even the CALF Generation 1. It is a point-and-shoot camera and is looking like a solid replacement of the Insta360 EVO right here. Let's take a closer look. The CALF is smaller than my iPhone 15 in length, about the same height, and just a little bit thicker. It weighs around 300 grams, which is slightly heavier than my iPhone, but way lighter than the CALF Generation 1, which weighs 850 grams. You can definitely slip it into your pocket, just like the phone. Now, the EVO is still smaller and lighter. But check out the lens size. The EVO uses a pinhole security camera lens, while the CALF's lens is much larger, almost the size of a Canon dual fisheye lens. The lens specs are impressive as well. It is an f2.0 super fast lens designed by CALF's partner, VISINSE. The large aperture means better low light performance and less digital noise. As for the sensor, the CALF uses dual 12 megapixel Sony IMX577 1/2.3 inch sensor. It is small, but here's the thing. Just like the Generation 1, CALF doesn't use the full fisheye sensor coverage. It crops the fisheye, which actually increases the sensor coverage and gives you more effective pixels. The trade-off, you get that classic CALF look, that stretched pixel artifact at the top and bottom of your frame. Outdoors, This worked fine. The sky blends really well and the tripod is hidden. It is similar to the Canon reduced FOV strategies with their new diffusion lens, but unlike Canon, CALF still give you a full 180 degrees FOV, just with some blur at the top and the bottom. This becomes more noticeable in indoor VR180 video, so if your story needs clean ceiling and floor, this camera might not be for you. That said, according to data from Meta, most viewers rarely look up or down, and personally I like that the camera hides the tripod, so I don't have to remove it later in DaVinci Resolve. Now, when it comes to post-production, one of the biggest advantages of CALF series is its internal camera stitching and automatic 3D calibration. Unlike Canon or EVO, you don't get fisheye footage that need to fix later. Instead, you get an immersive 180 video ready to be uploaded directly to platforms like the Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3, or even the brand new Pico 4 Ultra. That means you don't need to be a 3D expert to create immersive 180 content. The camera's AI handle all that just for you. Plus, with the built-in RJ45 port, you can connect the camera to the internet and livestream 8K VR180 video. You can stream directly to platforms like TikTok, which, by the way, supported 8K VR180 right now in China, or on the CALF own platform on Vision Pro or Meta Quest. Right now, that platform is mostly filled with hot girls dancing, but we are hoping that once more creators get their hands on the camera, we will see more wider range of content, maybe even some immersive 180 videos featuring Kimchi. Despite its compact size, this camera comes with some serious connectivity options. A dedicated audio jack for external audio, a TF card slot for external storage, and not one, but 2 USB ports.
Why 2 USB ports?
Good question, Kimchi. According to CALF, this is the first camera with a built-in Thunderbolt 4 port, which labeled by this lightning icon right here, and a separate USB-C PD power port for fast charging during live stream or long-hour recordings. Now, since the camera captures close to 8K quality, isn't just a TF card isn't going to cut it in terms of speed or capacity. The camera does have internal storage, but it's only 20 gig, so that is where the Thunderbolt 4 port come in. It lets you live stream and record directly to this at the same time. They really thought of everything for the spatial streamers. Unfortunately, at the time of this review, the live stream feature isn't ready yet, so I will have a follow-up tutorial once we get that firmware update. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay updated on the future of spatial live streaming on Apple Vision Pro and Meta Quest. This camera uses a built-in battery, and it is a big one, 3000 mAh, which gives you almost double the runtime compared to the CALF Generation 1. Just to give you some perspective, the Insta360 X4 has a 2290 mAh battery. So yeah, if you like, this thing never runs out of power when you're shooting outdoors. The screen is also huge and super bright, and it's a touchscreen. It makes framing your shot so much easier. Plus, it even has a nice leveling indicator here to help you keep everything perfectly straight. Alright, so what are the downsides of this camera? Well, it's tough to judge fully since this is a pre-production unit. Right now, there is no camera settings. You have got only control over bitrate and the timer. That means no adjustment for white balance, ISO, shutter speed, saturation, or aperture. That's why the color in the sample 3D 180 video look a bit too yellow and saturated. By the way, we did a side-by-side comparison between the CALF Gen 2 and the Canon R5 Mark II. Now, don't expect it to outperform the professional $5,000 8K VR180 camera with 14 stops of dynamic range, but it is a good point of reference. You can download the sample footage in the description down below. Check it out yourself on your Apple Vision Pro or the Meta Quest 3. Don't just take my word for it, see it for yourself. Another thing, this camera doesn't have handheld stabilization like the EVO just yet, but according to CALF, it has 9-axis stabilization just like the EVO. And there will be a firmware update for the stabilization after the official release. I still recommend using a gimbal so you don't make your audience sick in VR. There's also a bit of chromatic aberration around the edge of the lens, which I can see in the raw fisheye format. They have managed to hide it in camera stitching, but it's something to be aware of. The sharpness also drops off near the edge of the lens, so try to avoid placing your subject in the 160 to 180 degree range, like right here. The production unit will be available soon with an early bird price of $699, making it the most affordable 3D 180 camera out there. The final retail price will be $899, still comfortably under $1,000. That is just a first look though. I will be doing a more in-depth testing and sharing some sample footage right here on the channel. So if you are new here and you want to learn more about making spatial film, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Even with the Gen 2 out right now, I still think the CALF Gen 1 is better for prosumer, especially with its high frame rate in 6K. You can check out my full review of the Gen 1 right here. And if you're interested in watching some of our original spatial film on Apple Vision Pro right here, check out this playlist right here. Kimchi and I will see you next time.